A lot of you might be familiar with the Fire Emblem franchise, a strategic JRPG that many have come to know and love. But what if I told you there was something very similar, only this time, some of your favorite mecha from anime take the center stage?
機械が勝手に動いてんだ。一気に詰める。なんでそんなにドンパチしたいかね。直撃させりゃいける。そこだな。気を誤ったか。
Hello, my name is Sly, aka Gray Fox, and today I'll be telling you a little bit about Super Robot Wars and the upcoming release, Super Robot Wars T. Super Robot Wars is a mech JRPG that's been around for 29 years now. Past entries have featured a myriad of mechs from franchises like Gundam, Mazinger, Getter Robo, and more recent games have even covered Yamato, Cross-Ange, Aura Battler Dumbine, and many others. Super Robot Wars T features many franchises that have been introduced or featured in earlier games. Some new faces include Cowboy Bebop, Captain Harlock, Magic Knight's Rayearth, and Expelled from Paradise. My experience with Super Robot Wars goes back to Super Robot Wars Original Generations on Game Boy Advance, which at the time were the only ones to get English translations in North America. Now in 2019, there haven't been any North American ports, but through the magic of region-free gameplay, we're able to play the most recent Southeast Asian translated versions of Super Robot Wars. These include OG Moondwellers, Super Robot Wars V, X, and the upcoming T. In this video, I'll be covering a brief history of the 4 recent games in terms of gameplay, as they're fairly new and accessible to everyone. So let's start with the basics. What is Super Robot Wars? The premise is simple. Grid-based strategic combat, a la Fire Emblem. You attack, a very flashy anime-styled attack happens, the enemy gets to counter or defend/evade if they're able to, and vice versa. In between missions are cutscenes to move along the story. And with regards to the crossovers, the story does a great job of melding the lore together from many anime franchises into a singular narrative. Perfect example being, for me, Super Robot Wars X, where the pilots of Gundam Wing are familiar with the Zagillian Empire from Buddy Complex and many other storylines. Your mechs are divided into, let's say, 3 different categories. You have your super robots, which are armed with an arsenal of fantastic superpowered weapons, extremely tanky, sometimes even have the ability to transform or combine, and have a mystical or legendary origin surrounding them. These would be your Mazingers, Daitarn 3, Getter robots, similar types. Then you have your real robots, mechs that are treated as realistic weapons, mainly your Gundams and types like that. Hybrids are pretty much robots that fall into both categories. The Evas from Evangelion that respond to human emotions, and then something like Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, that when split are humanoid types that seem real, but when combined and presented with spiral energy, can stomp universes. Then you have your battleships, which I didn't include in the dichotomy, but are equally important. These are your transport units. You can load mechs on the field into a battleship at any time to move to a specific enemy or point faster. But don't just think of battleships as strictly transporters. With enough customization, your battleships can deal massive damage and help to satisfy objectives normally impossible for mechs alone to accomplish. As of recent, these have been the space battleship Yamato, the Nadesco, the Nautilus from Nadia, and the newest entry, the Arcadia from Captain Harlock. So now you know a little about the stars of the show, but what about the game proper? Every mission has a certain objective, whether it be to destroy every enemy, to destroy a specific enemy, to destroying the enemies in a set amount of turns. The mechs and pilots have varying stats that can be upgraded in between missions using credits or attack points earned. Credits, very simply, are earned by destroying mechs. However, you can increase the amount you earn by using various abilities called spirits, or by utilizing bonuses obtained through getting your pilots more kills. The attack point system, or attack P, allows you to customize pilots and mechs. With pilots, you can buy certain skills like reducing the EN required for attacks, allowing you to support allies with a second attack, slightly lower than normal, increasing certain parameters like close range attacks, defense, movement, etc., etc. You can also use tack points to buy special parts for your mechs that include certain attribute boosts, activate certain spirit abilities, ammo and reload, etc., etc. I won't go into the full details, but customization can be the difference between a good mech and a great mech. In general, if you're a mech anime otaku and love strategy RPGs, this is the game for you. Which begs the question, where can you get your hands on this? Well, I'll only speak in regards to the 4 recent releases, being OG Moondwellers, V, X, and T. These are all available through PSN, but you have to go through a few steps if you want to play the translated entries. PS4 is region free, allowing you to play games from other parts of the world, Japan or Asia, and not have to worry about region lock. To start, you'll need to make another PSN account completely separate from your usual account. This account will be based out of Singapore, as it's Southeast Asia, and is easier to make. You'll make this your primary PSN account, allowing your North American account to access the content downloaded from your Singapore account. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. You'll first enter the information as required. When it asks for your address, I enter the US Embassy as it's technically true, but semantics. Go through the final steps, and you're ready to purchase Super Robot Wars through the Asian PSN. Now, you'll notice that you might have issues if you're in North America and you're trying to add funds to make purchases on the Singapore PSN, mainly because your payment options require Singapore locales to actually make purchases, which you can't really use the embassy for billing because your payments are tied to your North American address. To add funds, you would use a site called Play Asia, which imports many games from the Japanese and Asian markets over to the US. They also sell digital PSN cards for Singapore. Simply make an account, add the PSN card amount you need to your cart, check out, and the codes are delivered to your email, or you can access them via your Play Asia account page and you can input them into PSN. Play Asia also allows you to purchase the physical copies of the games as well. So if you're interested, the prices are listed as follows. And I'll have links in the description below to the 2 versions of the game if you were interested in buying the physical copies. Now, in regards to Super Robot Wars T, it's only available for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. The 2 versions don't differ in terms of gameplay, with one exception. PS4 allows you to set custom BGM, so if you wanted to set a mech's attack or a stage's music to their respective anime theme, you can. Switch doesn't have that function, so if you're planning on adding small details like this, keep that in mind. Otherwise, the games are completely the same. DLC missions will be made available as time goes on, so you will need the Singapore PSN funds added to purchase them in the steps I mentioned earlier. But that's pretty much it. Super Robot Wars T releases March 20th, which I believe is March 19th for us in North America. I'll be streaming it live on my Twitch channel, and we will be on Twitch's front page on the 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so feel free to stop by and say hello and ask any questions if you have them, as we have quite a few people in my community who have played more of the franchise than I have. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and be sure to like and subscribe. And while you're at it, I'll post the question to you whether you're new to the franchise or you're a veteran. What would you like to see in a new entry? Personally speaking, I'm looking forward to the return of Macross, once Harmony Gold loses the rights in a couple of years. But Macross definitely stands out as one of the ones I would love to see in Super Robot Wars because they were in older entries. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the Super Robots.